Hey folks, Philly Boy J back here with another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make homemade hamburgers, and these are the best, I said the best homemade hamburgers that you're ever going to taste in your whole life. This is a really delicious homemade hamburger recipe, and first we're going to talk about the ingredients that you're going to be combining with your ground beef to make your burgers. Alright? What we're going to be using, some Worcestershire sauce. That's going to give the hamburger a nice beefy flavor. So you want to use that. You always want to use that whenever you're making anything with beef. We're going to be using some liquid smoke, and that's basically going to give the burgers a nice smoky grill flavor and taste. The seasonings that we're going to be using are salt and pepper. Going to use a generous amount of both. You don't want to over season the burger. We're going to also be using some minced garlic and some green peppers. We're going to be chopping the green peppers up into really small pieces. That's going to give the hamburgers additional flavor. Now, if you don't have minced garlic, you can use garlic powder, all right? And to bind the burgers together, you're going to be using a large egg and some breadcrumbs. You don't have to use an egg, but I recommend that you do so to help the burgers bind together. All right? Okay, guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to chop up half a green pepper into really small pieces. You want to make sure that you dice them into really small pieces like this, the long way. And the reason that you dice them up into really fine pieces is because you don't want to bite into a burger with big chunks of green peppers. Okay, you want them to be really fine. And then we're going to dice them this way. So there are your diced green peppers. That's the way you want them to look, nice and small like that, nice and finely diced. So make sure that you chop your green peppers up so that they look just like that. All right? Okay, guys, so now what you're going to do is you're going to get a big mixing bowl. And here I have 1.73 pounds of ground beef. You can use ground chicken if you want, or ground turkey. They do claim that ground chicken and ground turkey is healthier, but I'm going to go the traditional route, and we're going to be using some ground beef today. All right? Okay, guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to begin to add the ground beef to the mixing bowl. Make sure your ground beef is fully thawed out before doing so. Again, this is 1.5 pounds of ground beef. We're going to go ahead and add our green peppers. These are some Philadelphia style homemade hamburgers, folks. Okay, guys, because the minced garlic is really strong, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic juice and 1 tablespoon of actual minced garlic. Here I have some salt. Now, a lot of people are against adding salt before you combine everything together because they believe that that changes the texture of the hamburger. But I'm going to use a little bit anyway. Recommended amount, I would say, would be about 1 teaspoon. You don't want to over season this. Next, we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of black pepper. Some Worcestershire sauce, and that's to give the hamburger a nice beefy flavor. You're going to add about 1 tablespoon worth of Worcestershire sauce. Some people like their burgers to have that barbecue flavor, so if you want to add barbecue, I recommend that you add about 1 tablespoon worth. I'm also going to be adding some liquid smoke to give it that smoky flavor. All right? So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of that. So what we're going to use is 1 large egg, Now some people like to use flour, but I like to use breadcrumbs. And the amount that you use totally depends upon the amount of ground beef that you're using. But I'm only going to use about 1 cup worth of breadcrumbs. So just to let you know, guys, you can add whatever seasoning or condiments you want to give you the taste that you want your burgers to have. If you want your burgers to have that barbecue flavor, you can add a little bit of barbecue sauce, like I said earlier. Also, if you wanted to have that hickory smoke taste, you can add some hickory smoke barbecue sauce. So now what we're going to do is we're going to blend these ingredients together and make sure that you don't blend them together too rough, and you don't want to over blend them together because that would change the texture of the hamburger. So let's blend them together now. So this is the shape that you want your burgers to be, sort of like that. 4 inches long, 4 inches wide. So I'm going to shape the rest of this meat into burger patties, and I'll get back with you when I'm done and show you guys how it look. Okay guys, so this is the way the beef patties look. This is the way our hamburgers look. After combining them all together, this is sort of the way you want them to look. Okay? So make sure they look like that. Those are hamburgers. We're going to grill them. You can cook them however you want to cook them. You can fry them on a pan with a little bit of oil over medium heat, but we're going to be grilling our burgers today. If you do decide to fry them instead of grilling them, do not use the liquid smoke. The liquid smoke is just to enhance that grill flavor. All right? Okay guys, so here we have a tomato and we have a onion. What some people like to do is they like to add the onions and the tomatoes to their burger after it's done, and they like to add it raw. But I like to grill my onions and my tomatoes along with the burger. So we're going to be cutting the onions like this, the long way down. And we're going to place them on top of the burgers once the burgers are almost done. You want your onions to have that grill flavor as well. And this is the reason why I do that. I don't like raw onions on my burger, but if you do, you do not have to grill your onions. And I like my tomatoes on the thinner side. Tomatoes on a burger are supposed to be rather thin, so we're going to chop them up into thin pieces. And there you have it, guys, your chopped up onions and tomatoes. Okay guys, so here are our hamburgers. We're going to place them on the grill now, and I'll show you how they look when they're almost done. And when they're almost done, like I said earlier, we're going to add the onions and the tomatoes so that they can grill as well. All right, but this is how the hamburgers look. Now some people do place an aluminum foil over the grill rack, but if you want your burgers to have those grilled lines in them, you're not going to do that, and you're going to press the burgers down on the rack so that they can get those lines in the burger. I'm going to place them on the grill like this. Okay. Okay guys, so we're going to cook these burgers until they're done. I do recommend that you close the lid so that they'll cook faster. It should take about 20 to 25 minutes. About 15 to 10 minutes on each side. All right? These hamburgers are looking delicious. So we're going to flip them over. You can see the lines in them. See? Look at that. Nice and crispy too. You can even smell that liquid smoke in that Worcestershire sauce that we put in it. But yeah, this bad boy's looking good. And these are corn on the cob, by the way. Okay, so since they're almost done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit some cheese over them. Along with some onions. Okay guys, so I'm gonna let these go for another 15 minutes. We're gonna let the cheese melt and we're gonna let the onions grill a little bit. And then we're gonna be just about all done. All right. So I like to grill my tomatoes as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit them on the grill along with the hamburger, cheese, and onions. Again, you don't have to do this. This is optional, but I just like cooked onions and cooked tomatoes on my burgers. So I'm gonna close the lid and let them continue to cook. It should melt and the onions and tomatoes should be grilled within about another 15 minutes. All right. Okay, and here's some potato salad that I put together. I'm sure some of you have seen my previous video on how to make potato salad. I have some relish, some potatoes, some eggs, some peppers, some celery, some mayo. I sprinkled a little bit of salt, pepper, and sugar into it. And I'm gonna stir it up. Okay guys, so here's how my potato salad look. If you want the full recipe on how I make my potato salad, check my other videos out. I've already done 2 videos on how I make my potato salad, all right? But this is how it looks. Looks really, really good. And yeah, give it a try. Okay guys, so our cheese has melted and our onions have browned, so have our tomatoes. So we're going to get ready to plate our hamburgers now, all right? Let's go do that. Let's go put them on some buns. Okay, so here's how I make my hamburger. First, I add a little bit of mayo. Just a little bit of mayo, not too much. I like to follow that up with lettuce, just a little bit. I'm going to follow that up with my grilled tomatoes. I'm going to follow that up with our hamburger, cheese, and onions. And this part is optional, but you can add 2 small pickles. Just a little bit of ketchup.